Hi guys, today's recipe is one of my all-time favorite sweet treats where you get both the pastry and the sweet treat in one bite. And we are going to be making Gizzadas.
Right, to make our gizadas, we're gonna mix the dough now. And what I like to do is add half of the flour. And the flour is cold as well as the butter. And I like to add the cold butter. This is 3/4 cup of cold butter. And now I'm gonna add the rest of the flour on top. It creates less mess to do it like this. And we're gonna add salt. So we're coating the butter in the flour. And then because I don't have a pastry cutter on hand, I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna use to replace it. Because I don't have a pastry cutter on hand right now, I like to use a potato masher to mash the butter into the flour into small hazelnut size pieces before we add our ice cold water. So this is a very easy way if you don't have a pastry cutter on hand to mix the flour without making any mess. And in no time this is done. You're gonna mash it just like you're mashing mashed potatoes, and you're still gonna have those small pieces of butter in there. So we're gonna get the cold water. We have some cold ice water going here, and it's very cold. And we have some ice cubes in there as well. I placed it in the freezer and it got even more cold. So this is what we're gonna use to make our pastry. Because I don't like to put my hands in cold pastry, most oftentimes I often use my mixer. I'm going to be using my rubber spatula for this. Outside is already cold. Pastries are very nice to enjoy, but this is a side that I really don't like. So we're going to pull everything together and allow it to get to like a crummy meal looking texture where you can still see the lumps of butter in there. Use a little bit of water until it comes together kind of tacky, and then we're going to put it on the surface and then we're going to work with it. Once it has some big lumps, once you press as you're pushing the pastry together, it's going to come together quite nicely. The larger the balls of flour become, it tells you that it's getting closer and closer to ready. And this is just about ready. Whenever it gets lumpy like this, it has enough water and it has enough fat, and it's just to push it together. So let's throw it out on the surface. And I'm just gonna push and squeeze. And it comes to a ball very fast. You gotta squeeze very tight. And this is good. So I'm gonna wrap this in a plastic wrap and place it in the fridge for about 40 minutes for the butter to get more cold and for the gluten strands in the flour to relax.
we are using 1 grated coconut to make the filling. I prefer to use freshly grated coconut than the prepackaged coconut because of the texture of it. It's more moisture in this coconut.
And this is ready. We're going to cook the coconut now, and we're starting off by adding some water, and you will find the entire ingredients list in the description box. And we're going to spice up our water and flavor it. So we're adding some vanilla essence, some cinnamon, 1 Caribbean bay leaf. The North American bay leaf is quite different, and this is the one that you will find in the Caribbean. This is very aromatic. I'm adding some butter, coconut, the coconut doesn't really have to cook long because it also goes into the oven. You just want to make sure that you have all the flavors going there. Sugar. I'm going to grate some nutmeg, about 1/4 of a whole nutmeg. And a pinch of salt to balance off the sweetness. And we're going to let this come up to a little simmer, and it's going to reduce. But you want to get all the coconut coated, and I'm going to cook it on low heat. Just because I'm trying not to add any more water to it. So I'm going to leave it open and allow it to simmer. I'm going to leave this on the fire for about 1 more minute, and then it's going to be just good. You don't want to dry it down too much, because if you do, it's going to get hard on you after a time, and you don't want to do that. You want to leave just a little bit of liquids in there. Not much, but just enough to keep it moist. And this is ready. We're going to allow it to cool, and then we're going to come back and prepare the pastry for the gizzada. We got 11 circles. And although I cut them like this, I'm still going to give them an extra roll. These are done, and I opened them as wide as I could, but yet they are still even. And we're going to tray, blind bake, and bake. We're going to add 6 at a time. I believe it should hold 6. So these are ready, and we're going to use a cookie cutter, but I'm using it on the soft side just to make a little imprint so that they all are going to be equal sizes, and I'll have everything looking nicely arranged. I'm going to use 2 fingers open, U-shape, and 1 in. I'm going to squeeze the edge, pin to the bottom so that they stay in the shape. As you're finished crimping the edges, you want to go back around and pinch so that it stays up. Other people would probably do it a different way. We're going to take a fork and lightly put some holes at the bottom so so that when we blind bake them, blind bake simply means pre-bake for about 10 minutes in the oven. They're not gonna puff up, but before I blind bake them, I'm popping them in the freezer to firm up the butter, and then I'm gonna pop them in the oven to blind bake. Adding 1 scoop of coconut per gizzada. And we're gonna distribute the coconut.
While I am doing this, I just want to let you know that you can help me to make more good content by subscribing to the channel and giving the video a thumbs up. Also, you can comment in the comment section and click the notification bell so that whenever I post a new recipe, you will be the first to be notified.
And we're gonna pop these back in the oven for another 20 minutes, and then we're gonna take them out.
And here you have it, Coconut Gizzadas. Be sure to check out some more of my recipes, and thank you for joining. See you on another good day for another great recipe.